I know this is a little hard to see, but if you Google who controls the banks, you'll see the pyramid of how this works and is orchestrated. Here we have the Rothschilds at the top of this pyramid. The chart reveals the linear connection between the Rothschilds and the Bank of England and the London banking houses, which ultimately control the Federal Reserve banks through their stock holdings of bank stock and their subsidiary firms in New York. The two principal Rothschild representatives in New York, J.P. Morgan Company and Kuhn, Lowe and Company, were the firms which set up the Jekyll Island Conference at which the Federal Reserve Act was drafted. So anyways, what's interesting on this chart here is you have the Rothschilds, and then it starts to show their representatives springing off. So you're going to have the Brown, Shipley and Company, Morgan, Greenfield and Company, Lazar Brothers, and then as you go down, Alex Brown and Son, and then you have J.P. Morgan, New York Morgan Guaranteed, Morgan Stanley. Then you have the Warburg and the Hamburg. Lehman Brothers, New York. And all the representatives of these banks. So it pretty much shows you how the banks are able to spring off of the Rothschilds. You have Chase National Bank, Shareholders National City Bank, Shareholders National Bank of Commerce, New York. Here we have J.P. Morgan again, First National Bank, J.P. Morgan, Baker, William Rockefeller, Chase National Bank. Now we have a second chart. And it talks a little bit who financed Hitler. And we know the Rothschilds did and have been through the Bank of Citibank. So the deregulation aspects of not having a watchdog over these banking institutes has created this crash. And that's why those whistleblower laws are so important, and a justice system that kicks in, and the SEC and the Treasury Department need to kick in. And they need to bring in forensic auditors and find out who's looting all the money and who made all these bad loans. And this has been going on for 30 years. So we have Rockefeller down again, and here's another third chart. David Rockefeller, Chase Manhattan Bank, look how that springs off. Private Investment Bank for America, General Motors, Allied Chemicals, Chrysler. So Google who owns the banks and check out these charts and ask people, hey, I asked a friend of mine who works for a bank, he works for Citibank, who owns your bank? Oh, well, 3 princes and then, you know, stockholders and whatnot. He doesn't realize it starts from the top, the Rothschilds, and then it filters down. And sure, there are other owners. However, seems to me it filters down from one big family and that's the Rothschilds. And therefore they are controlling our government, and they're controlling all of our Congress members. And so it's up to us to demand that our Congress members don't just come in and deregulate and do what they're doing. And I can give you a simple example is like for trucking. The lobbyists came in, FedEx, paid Reagan off $30 million. One of the removals, one of the aspects of deregulations was removing a restriction, which was truckers only had to go to 10 states. Now they got to go to all the 10 states, and crashes are bound throughout the United States. And the families of these truckers is destroyed. Divorce rates up, high blood pressure, juvenile delinquency because the fathers aren't home managing the home. And that's basically what happens on deregulation. Removals in the banking system happen, and then this fiasco starts. And then as well as these companies operate under substandard conditions, and it's happening in the airline industry as well, the banking industry and the trucking industry.